I heard you want to be Facebook Live, and now here we are.
Coming at you live.
Use the voices. Use the voices.
Bow, 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 bow.
Wow.
It's gonna take us
That's
10
the one.
Hang on. There, now we're back to normal.
It's gonna take us like 10 minutes to figure out which voice you want to use for your podcast, Brandon.
No, we're not playing with voices.
Here, read your intro.
No, I told you, we're just gonna wing it.
Why did you type it if you're just gonna wing it?
Well, because it was just something to stay on point, guys. I don't know. It's
We're new.
guess.
My first station.
Oh my god.
We get that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my
guys,
god.
You just gotta bear with me a little bit. Ah, that's what I said.
You gonna tell us?
Willing to share with the class?
You want to start it finally or what?
Yeah.
All right, welcome everyone to the very first podcast on the Brandon Weber Motorsports channel. Take it away, bud.
All right. Well, obviously we're here today with Dustin and Ryan, my boys, Protruck Class with 2 truck guys. So this ought to be interesting, and we are here to obviously go over our new class rules. Obviously, as you guys have all heard, we get to race with you boys now.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, there's just a lot of mixed emotion and everything out there currently that it's kind of hard topic, hard spot to kind of go over. Brings a tear to my eye. I don't.
What was that?
I can't.
It was a laughing. I don't know. They didn't have like a sad
They didn't have crying.
pouty face, so.
What does this one do?
That. Yeah, it was true.
Alright, we still gotta work on the sound effects a little bit, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we're new. So, where do you guys want to start? Obviously, we're going to be in the same class now since they completely got rid of what was the truck class. Now, do we just call ourselves a pro class?
That's essentially what it is.
Yep. And at this point, which, I don't know, there's a lot of pros and cons on both sides, even with both cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, the blue truck's 3-link, and all of you guys are 3-link. But then the red truck's 4-bar, which builds more traction, in theory.
Yeah.
Supposed to.
It also gives you more places to screw it up.
We've had our fair share this year, I think. Especially with the Panhard bar. So, Ryan, what were the new rules this year? I know that obviously my phone's a little tied up, so
Let's see.
I'm banking on you on this one.
Pro trucks, they no longer have to run a rear bumper cover.
Alright, no
Yeah.
rear bumper.
Need the bumper to front the cover. They have to run the same 8-inch filler panel, I guess I would call it, with the spoiler that we had around. But otherwise, nothing on the back.
Which is something we all wanted to begin with.
Yeah,
Right.
we did want to get rid of
Yeah, we wanted to get rid of the tail pieces for sure.
And then the only other basic one here that should have never even been different, in my opinion, is all the intakes that we can run, you guys can now run.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of
different.
I always thought that was kind of odd myself.
I'm pretty sure we've always ran the same intakes, or at least I have.
Right.
You
Well,
know.
we're offered a better 4-barrel intake than you guys were ever offered. You guys had
Oh, really?
Yeah, the only air gap we were allowed was that Sportsman
Yeah.
Victor Jr. 2-barrel.
So
intake.
that's why everybody.
That's
runs
the
that.
only
2-barrel.
one you were allowed to run. That was a 2-barrel.
Okay, see, I
Air gap.
guess truthfully I did not know that. did I run? What did we have in the Pro Stock? The big 4-barrel.
We had a Hurricane on
Yeah,
it.
same one
Yeah.
that we had on the mod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big old cheapo freaking air gap on there.
Hey, it worked though. It worked.
The only other real rule is you guys are allowed 4 barrels to hope to make up for the lap time differences between cars and trucks. So,
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
which is the only real talking point as far as rules go.
Yeah.
You guys get it, we don't.
Yeah, you already see a lot of guys complaining already online.
And I don't know if that is completely just because I guess some guys have some experience with it and think that it's great or not great. And I guess I've never been in it. Raced Kokomo in the streeter with a 2-barrel. I raced this year at the Run With Your Brung show on 2-barrel. I've never raced on a 4-barrel ever. So I don't even know what it feels like or if there is a significant difference or not.
It's pretty sweet.
So
Yeah, but truthfully, I mean, shoot, we didn't even have a 4-barrel on the truck at all year, you know, and
Yeah, even for the Oka show, we still kept
you
it
guys
on the
didn't
2-barrel. No, it was still on the 2-barrel. Yeah.
we just bolted on late model tires.
Okay.
Yeah.
And went with it. Which that's also why I'm up in the air on do I change over to a 4-barrel? You know, I see there's a lot of benefits, but
What I see, I guess, in that, I mean, that exact instance is you didn't have a 4-barrel on and the truck was painfully fast. And I think that's traction. I don't know that, and maybe with traction, a 4-barrel really does make another step there. You know, I don't know that for certain, but
That's true.
that part of it doesn't bother me nearly as much as the cars and the trucks being together. But I don't think anybody's really gonna know. They did it 10, 15 years ago and it worked or didn't work, or people liked it, didn't like it. Until we try it, I don't think we have a correct answer.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
We're not really gonna know what's gonna happen until it happens.
yeah. And that's one of my only complaints is, you know, I really wish we would have at least had a chance to take off the tailpiece, you know, then check lap times. Because obviously,
And the
already-
carburetor thing.
yeah,
See if it
yeah.
actually really.
I think it's gonna stir up a big ball of worms between, like I said, pro stocks already don't have it, and now we're a pro class.
Right.
You know, so how long will the 4-barrels even last with the trucks, or vice versa, till you guys get one?
Or they
How
take
long
them
do you
back
guys
from
think?
you.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're gonna have to go back to a frickin' 2, and
Right.
you know,
Which again, until we do it, we're not gonna know, but I think it could have been tested this year and with the idea that the racetracks were wanting to put the 2 different classes into one class. These are answers I would have thought that we would have had before we actually stuck them together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So,
it is a really hard one to take, I would say, at this point. Too many, you know, obviously we're fresh off of this, so, you know, it's still a little sour for some people.
It is create quite the buzz on the old Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, what sucks for me is now, I mean, like we said, my truck's completely ready, and, you know, every time you look back in history, a pro stock has always been faster than the trucks, so it's kind of hard to go out there and, in theory, be a 12th place car every week, at best. You know, I mean, that's shooting from the head. I mean, we might be able to get it figured out.
And I
or
think you guys
whatever,
are
but-
you're gonna do better in racing. The class inverts deep. So, and that's not gonna get better with putting all the cars together. It already inverted deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you guys are gonna do fine in the heat races, especially if the 4-barrels make any sort of real difference. I think in the features, I don't think it's going to make as big of a difference, and I think the cars not necessarily.
I told
all,
Brandon like the same thing. I bet the trucks with the 4-barrel with the Trek has a bunch of moisture in it. They might do a little bit better. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So, which I think is going to frustrate
a lot of the pro guys.
A lot of the car guys,
Yep.
and then they're going to have to, you know,
Battle.
go from being an invert car to being a B main car. I mean,
You could be seeing some
realistically, at this
Hail
point.
Mary sliders.
Right, and that's probably the worst of it. And maybe, realistically, maybe that's the only way that, I mean, I've raced with trucks, and they're hard to pass because of their size, and making them faster is going to make them even harder to pass, if it's even possible to pass them. They don't drive the same at all. There's nothing. Having driven with them, they don't go around the corner like we do. They don't come off corners like we do. They don't enter. I mean, nothing about them is the same.
It is different.
Obviously, I've hot lapped Brandon's truck a couple of times. I think Andrew's truck once. I don't particularly care for them, but each their own.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. And that's the hard thing anymore, because now you even look at what the truck guys get. You know, like Shane said on the post, the truck guy should be licking their chops, is how he put it, you know, with the lift arm, the 4-barrel, the 4-bar. You know, you got all this going for you.
Did they open it up for a lift arm?
Well, that's what he said.
Okay. I was like, God, then.
I don't remember if it was.
It
in the
doesn't
rules.
say in the new rules, but honestly, I can't say I've ever read the truck rules, so I don't know off the top of my head whether that's
I always knew 4-bar and 3-bar
right.
was legal.
I'm
So
pretty sure that it said no lift arms before.
Oh, maybe it said no lift arms. You know,
75% on that one.
yeah. But I mean, you look at your guys' cage location compared to ours, the wheelbase difference. I mean, me and Troy and shit, I think we've all talked about it already. The amount of weight I'm almost gonna have to move around in my truck to get a good enough rear percentage. I mean, I'm gonna weigh 3,300 pounds.
And that's the scary part. So now you're 3,300 pounds in a 2,800 pound car class.
Yeah.
You wrestled in high school, right?
I lost to a big guy.
That's not a boxing match I'm interested in having.
Yeah.
The trucks are, not all the trucks, but trucks are older. They tend to be heavier.
Built different.
And they're definitely built different. The height of the truck itself is drastically different than the height of a car.
It is.
I mean, realistically, we all use the same front clip, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Everything on that back is different.
Yeah. So.
That's like even just a panhard bar. Why would you run a panhard bar? That's asphalt stuff.
Dude, I'm
Which-
telling
we
you,
tried
your
it.
old truck could be an old asphalt rig. It could be, nobody knows.
Yeah. Nope. Not a single person, I don't think.
Nope.
Alright, so. now
All
how about
right,
this
what's
one?
on your next subject
Oh,
here, Brandon?
That's what I was just looking at, dude. How long do you think the trucks will actually stick around? Do you think now that?
I'm telling you, if we go out there and we just get our cheeks clapped the whole time, I don't see it lasting very long. I'll be honest. Being God honest on that one.
Yeah,
It's gonna be disheartening for a lot of people.
No, and I don't think it does good things. The idea in general, I don't think it's good because number one, they're different, so I don't think it's gonna race well together, and I'm gonna have truck guys mad at car guys for absolutely no reason because none of them asked for this,
yeah.
and none of it's the same. Well, you did this to me. Well, that's actually just how trucks drive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if you've never driven one, you don't know that. You guys all do the same thing in the corner, so you don't have that, or you at least know to anticipate it. You know? Even Dusty and I still race street stops from time to time, and they drive dramatically different than pro stocks do.
Oh yeah.
They're not the same cars, and it's really tough to race them together when they don't do the same things. You know,
Yeah.
that would be like asking us to go put late model tires on and go race with late models. It's just they don't even act the same. So they're not the same thing. That's why there's classes. That's why there's divisions.
Yes. And I have to agree with you.
And I don't think, I mean, by doing this, by putting them together, it doesn't excite anybody, in my opinion. Now I don't know that, but I'm not going to go out and if I'm trying to get into racing, I'm not going to go out and build a truck at this point.
Yeah, I mean, now trucks are dead is about how I feel, you know.
Can you? It's been done before, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And can you come back from it? You know, I know that we acquired another truck this winter and had intention of putting it together, which obviously we put on hold now. So until they kind of decide, it's hard to invest more money than we've already.
Yeah, especially if you don't know if it's gonna stick around a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
That's hard to put money into.
Or again, even
Yeah.
if the trucks are going to be able to compete. I mean, why put another truck together for? Like I said, I mean,
Right.
for 15th.
Right, just to fill the field. And I think what you're going to do is just realistically, you're going to end up with 30. That's my number in my head. You're going to get high 20s now in the pro class, as you call it. So 6 to 10 guys are getting tow money, go home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you are that guy, and you're going to have nights where you're going to be that guy where things just don't go well. And that's going to be for everybody.
Yeah, that happens.
But the guy that is that guy every week, how do you sustain that? How do you keep racing? When you've already invested, copious amounts of money into whatever it is that you race, car, truck, whatever, and now you get your B main and your tow money and you go home. How long can you continue to race like that when racing doesn't pay you back at all? And that's going to be tough. I think by combining the classes, it makes one big class, but I actually think you drive people out of racing. I think you lose cars to this, and when you lose cars, you lose crew, and when you lose
It
cars
just
and crew,
trickles down.
you lose fans.
Yeah,
and that's everybody. And yeah, some people bring 25 people with them. Some people bring 2. I mean, everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to pick them all out person for person. But trucks was an affordable class that those guys could race, and you're going to hear guys, well, it's built with all the same parts. True, absolutely true. But the biggest difference is there's not very many 20-year-old competitive pro stocks on a racetrack. And I don't care what track it's at in Michigan. They just didn't exist.
Yeah.
Every truck out there is old,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of 1 or 2. They're all old, and the racing is different. It's almost more hobbyist racing. The truck class, what I love about them, actually slightly envious of them, is they'll go out there and race a whole entire feature, and then to watch them in the pits, they all gang up together and
We're all having a good old time afterward.
and have adult beverages and enjoy each other's company after that. And that is one thing you don't see in the other classes as
Well, you
much,
guys
at least
are
from
out-
my perspective.
You
I
guys
can't
are
say
out
it
there
doesn't
making
happen.
friends.
Yeah, you guys are. Like I said, I'm envious of how
That is.
the brotherly love and the camaraderie that class has, and I feel that that's going to go one of 2 ways. You guys will all get closer as we have
Could
now
have some
created.
blood and Crips thing.
Right,
going on.
exactly. Very well could. I don't know.
It's gonna get crazy.
Oh man.
Or does it just completely fizzle out into nothing? And that's my bigger fear.
I know.
It's they're not the same thing. I've worked on both. I've worked on both this week, and they're very
Thanks,
much.
Ryan.
You're welcome. They're very much not the same thing. So that's my fear. The affordable, Saturday night race once a week guy is no longer has a class to race in, because honestly, street stocks isn't that anymore. Street stocks are just as expensive, if not more expensive, to race than pro stocks have become.
Yeah.
Chassis definitely more expensive than
Yeah.
pro stock.
And in the trailing arm rule that they decided to go with on the street stocks, before it didn't really matter. It was hard to hook up street stocks to begin with, and then you let us create some traction with them, and we can put real motors to them now.
Yeah.
And it's left.
And then they bumped the claim rule up, so everyone's got a decent piece now, and it does put on some good racing. I will give them that. But
Yeah, but I mean, these guys are rolling around.
I
on
can't
pro
afford.
stock
I can't
motors,
afford a
No,
Terminator.
They are. It's not the claimer class of 5 years ago. I mean,
Right.
No, it's not. It's totally different now.
Yeah, come up with a 355 and be competitive, and
Yeah, I mean, you could still almost could have did that in the truck,
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
you guys run them 360s and stuff, and be competitive with a 360, and
Yeah, look at your brother. His 360s won what? A couple features, a
Right.
bunch of heat races.
you don't see that. You don't, you know what I mean? Sure, you hear people running small motors in a pro stock and making it work, right? But
The Dale truck, prime example right there, boy.
stock 350, right? That was the last class that you could do that in.
Mm-hmm.
Streeters, you're not doing it in, right?
Nope.
I played the claimer game. I've done that, right?
I ran that stock motor out of that damn motorhome
Yep.
for a whole freaking season, and I got third in Great Lakes with it.
You raced the stock motor for an entire season?
Yeah. Brandon drove
It's
it too.
still together.
Yeah, that's the one in Hardy's car now.
You're kidding.
That's that motor.
Yeah.
It's proven. It's a ripper.
I got a nice trophy out of that $150 motor, dude.
And I think once more people see how affordable, I guess I could say,
Hey,
trucks are, right?
And they were a
You-
blast.
You don't have a big motor bill, right? You
Mhm.
can do it on little to nothing. Back to what street stocks were, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You get claimed, you go pull that 355 out of the guy's Nova. You remember that? You know what I mean? And go race.
I miss him.
I actually just seen that picture the other day.
That's awesome.
You're not
Miss
doing that
some
in,
days.
in a street stock today. You're not doing that in a pro stock. Truck was that class, right?
Yeah.
Street stocks built into that because of that. That's where it built and that's where it started and what it's grown into today.
And
Trucks.
in the fun of the class, I mean, the word has gotten out, obviously. And we had guys, obviously Gavin, Rummer was going to put that one together. Rodeos, they were getting that one out. There was more trucks.
We had that
coming
other
out.
one that I had that we were going to get out.
And now it's. I want to see trucks out there.
Mhm.
I would love to show up opening night and we have like 25 trucks.
Yeah, but call those guys and say, hey, I know it's taken you a couple of years to get this together, because, well, it's a low budget class.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And, by the way, you don't have a class, so if you invest some more money into a class that doesn't exist, that would be great. That's not gonna happen. You're not gonna grow at this point.
No.
It's definitely taking the wind out of the sails.
Oh,
I've heard that
it
so
did.
much this week, and that's
Yeah,
a big.
it was a.
You guys are a perfect example, right? You guys had another truck you guys were gonna put together,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Full intentions of doing it.
Yep.
Bam,
Boom.
wind out of your sails. Is it because you don't know if they're gonna be competitive?
Yeah.
And here's my problem, right? I know racers, right? If you guys come out and you dominate, a lot of the pro stock guys are gonna bitch.
Oh, you know damn
That's
well.
gonna happen.
You know damn well.
Rightfully so.
Right.
Yeah, and you guys have all the reason to,
Because they're not the same, because they're two different classes that just happen to be on the track at the same time.
Mhm.
And I don't think intermingling that because they both have the name pro in them is, necessarily the same thing. I mean, this is Muskegon's Pro H running with supers.
Right.
Yeah.
They may kind of be the same thing, but they're not.
I made this
close
point
the
to
same
Dustin earlier, and what they did, this is what it reminds me of, is when like Mountie Town put the rear wheel drives and the front wheel drive four bangers together. It was like almost the same thing.
Right.
Is what it reminded me of.
Right.
And
They have
it-
a
it-
4-cylinder engine in them, but
Yeah.
not the same.
Yeah.
And if that's so what happened to that class?
But you had 5 rear-wheel drive cars showing up at that point when they put them together, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have 15,
Right.
No, and then last year,
12.
Right now they're down to 2.
yeah,
right?
last
So-
year we're waiting in the hot chute from to run a whole feature with 2 cars in it.
Right, which
Yeah, and that's
it's tough because they want to race.
Yeah,
just
that's
like you wanna
I
race.
get both sides of it,
So,
but it just
but when
it's
you-
hard to watch.
Right,
You know?
and when you
Like,
do stuff like this, that I mean, if this is your intent, you're phasing them out, you're getting rid of them. I think it's bigger than the trucks. I don't think you're just phasing out trucks. I think out of what do you say? How many trucks do you have, Brandon, in the class that you know of that race? Maybe not all the time, but different guys that race.
Well, I mean, for the Paul Rice Memorial, there was 18.
Okay.
And
that was the one night we had
And
more
we were-
cars than you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like the
and we
one
were
night.
still missing guys, and
Yeah, some guys were on vacation.
You
and
know.
camping
So
and
realistically,
stuff.
more cars are coming out now than
So you
What was
have
out?
20 trucks, and again, the truck thing doesn't so much. It's not because they're trucks. I don't have a love of trucks that you guys have. But the problem is, I think you're getting rid of. Not only are you going to get rid of.
That's like a staple of Crystal. There was the truck
Right.
class. You know?
I don't think
I
you're
love
getting.
the trucks.
You're
I
getting
know.
you might be getting rid of trucks, but you're getting rid of. I mean, of the 20, you're going to get rid of 15 people, 15
Oh, yeah.
families, 15 crews. That are just not going to race again.
They
I
just- I'm
look at
telling
your
you, they're
older
just
brother,
gonna-
for instance. Andrew, probably not. If this doesn't work out, this doesn't go. Does Andrew ever race again? No.
I don't know if he'll go out on his own, you know.
I can't see Andrew reinvesting.
Right,
You know,
Mhm.
you're invested into something, and
You know, and then even out of that, I mean, and you've had enough cars to be able to say this definitively. Bought a car, built a car, sold a car. I've had lots of cars.
I've kept all my cars.
Got rid of your street here.
He holds out barely.
You got the truck out of it though.
That's true.
But you guys can't get rid of the trucks.
Yeah,
There's nowhere for them to go
Yeah.
anymore. So it's either keep the
We
class
would have
together
to
and-
ask another track just to open maybe another class just
Right,
for
'cause
us.
if not, you have short steel.
Mhm.
That they're not. I mean,
especially if they aren't competitive.
It-
I mean,
Pretty much got a
They
paperweight.
make it a little harder to sell.
right?
You know.
Could you cut them all up and move them and shorten the wheelbase and all that and turn them into pro stocks? I'm not telling you you can't because honestly there's no reason that you can't, but it would be a grotesque amount of work.
Oh yeah.
For to still be probably inferior. Again, you guys all of your trucks are older. They're heavier. I had an old pro stock. It was heavy.
It's a freaking tank.
In comparison to my current pro stock, and I just don't. Even if you cut them up and land on our rules and become cars, I still don't think they compete that well. So
Yeah.
that's that part of it makes me sad that you're gonna realistically.
Like me and Brandon had 2 years of running up at Mount Pleasant with the pros. We have a pretty good understanding where the trucks compete with, not the cars, and yeah, they do kind of struggle a little bit
It's hard.
sometimes. I mean, Brandon almost won a feature one time. You guys remember
I
that?
do remember
Oh
that.
yes.
I still think I might have been holding them up a little bit, but truck stuff, you know.
I don't. Did I?
But at that point, you're back at different speeds. I would say I still had the tailpiece that.
Yep.
You know, I don't know whether it helps or doesn't.
You had the donkey motor in too.
That was when we first put it in.
Yeah.
That was the first race.
I watched that race though. Why did I not race that night?
I don't know.
Was it every time you do something cool, I'm not racing? You want me to take some more time off?
Well, now we got to race against each other. I'll sit Troy out out there on you, and
What?
all my problems are solved.
I'm gonna send you back to Wyoming.
Did I just get turned into a freaking hitman? What the heck just happened?
Kind of sounded that way.
Yeah, you can say.
And I think there's gonna be a lot of that incidental damage stuff.
Yeah, there's gonna be some collateral damage.
And that's frustrating about pro stocks in general. And don't get me wrong, it exists in every class, and it just happens to be worse in some classes than others. And,
It shows a little more.
We've gone through times where we've struggled with that, but everybody's out there learning. If you're not learning in a race car, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah. So I mean, for the most part, we can kind of all agree people are gonna get along for a minute.
I don't.
I think
As long
as
as-
soon as me and Troy start on the front row every week, because we're fucking 15th place trucks at that point, if we made the feature, you guys are gonna then show up and start 10th in the heat. We're gonna start 1 and 2.
Let's
Now,
see
you
about
guys
that.
aren't making
7,
the fucking-
8.
You know, you guys don't make the transfer and gotta run a B main every week.
Right.
I'm not gonna say every week, because obviously the way the invert works eventually.
Right.
You
I
guys
guess I
will be
don't.
back up there.
I've never actually looked at it through a B main, so I'm not even 100% certain how that works. Does that make it easier to start up front? I don't know. I'm probably the worst person for
Yeah.
starting up front. So
Yeah. I feel like I didn't do it very much this year. No, I broke quite a few times. So, when we were figuring out the red truck.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna cause some tensions though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you have, and again, these are all hypothetical.
So-
Obviously, none of us are gonna know until we really get out there and
Run them.
get our feet wet in it.
So- You drove the mod, right? I know you have. All right, you're hard on shit. So you drive that 3-link
I
mod.
call them the kettle black.
Pretty much, that's what I'm saying. So, you know how we get, you know how our mod's 3-link, everyone else is 4-link?
Yes.
You know how we could drive it in like another 30 feet than the 4-link cars? That's what them guys are gonna do. I'm telling you, there's gonna be a lot of slamming on the brakes going
So
on.
that's where the driving different is going to be, and you see it right now when you watch the trucks, right? When you watch your 4-lane truck compared to your 3-lane truck, they drive different.
Yeah.
Now they benefit on different tracks, and you watch that be different, when they're racing. But how is that going to pertain to trucks and cars on the same racetrack?
Yeah, and
It's gonna be chaos.
it's gonna be chaos.
It's gonna be chaos.
Unless, I mean, people understand right from the get-go, like, I was gonna sing the song.
Is there a dial tone song or noise?
No, but the
We
whole
could have used it.
the whole respect, you gotta have respect for the other guys, and especially their cars. I mean, I hate to say it, like I've already told you guys, I'm not gonna get run over.
No, and that's the problem, is that I don't.
Whether I'm slower,
Dude, that's when it's gonna start right there.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, and it's gonna be a total shit show.
the
It's not,
never
but
had
damn.
really an issue ever with that for the most part,
Right.
And
Well,
it seems
we
like
watch
it
our
just-
boys come off the track, and there's always some sort of drama going on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
no
Meanwhile,
drip
all those
off.
truck guys are all in like Jim's trailer drinking beer, watching the fight go down.
cheap entertainment.
Yeah.
Damn.
Now we gotta be involved, which changes it up a little bit, That's for sure. What?
That's working, dude.
Anything else? Anything else we gotta cover?
Any
Anything
final
else?
thoughts, everybody?
We recover all of our.
I know Brandon's like 6 bulletins here.
Oh my god, they ain't even. They ain't
Yeah,
even
he's
that
got some
bad.
sub bulletins.
Yeah, there's a A, B, C, and D.
Hey, I figured it out. Okay.
I get it. I got
Made it
that.
that
Yeah.
Did we
No,
cover
it's not
your,
two-sided.
Did we cover your questions that you were wanting to?
Well, I
Cover
mean, in
the-
theory,
You need to
overall,
I
work
can't
on it.
read.
Did you
over the whole.
I can barely have a race car.
Did you
I
answer?
can read.
Did you answer the questions that? I seen that you put up a
Right, and that's kind
thing
of
from your page about what questions would you like answered to the best of our guests. Did you get a? Did
Yeah,
you
and
answer those
I'm
already?
pretty sure for the most part we kind of have covered everything. I mean, we could probably go into more detail on a couple things.
I mean, we're gonna give her the old college try, but we'll see how long it goes.
Yeah, we're no real experts. And for this being all new here.
Right, it's definitely going to be, like, none of us have any real hard data to know what they're going to do together.
That's
Right?
pretty
Everybody knows right now when a pro truck and a pro stock go to race together in their current state.
One slower than the other.
Yep, and that's,
And they don't go on the racetrack the same.
Mm-hmm.
um,
This is something I was telling Brandon. Like, you take the like 4th or 5th place car in both classes, and I bet the lap time is drastically different.
right.
Yeah, it certainly can. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that the time is the biggest issue. I think the difference is the bigger issue as far as on-track problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that honestly, if we were to race 4-cylinders, I think we would have the same, race against 4-cylinders, we'd have the same exact problem. It's not so much that they're slower as a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, and it wouldn't go as far as say they're unpredictable, but they're just different. When you don't know to watch for it or to look for it,
Yep.
you get, we'll take your top 10 in just about every class. They miss accidents, they miss spinouts, they miss things that the back 10 don't. And that's driver work. That's anticipating things happening before or as they're happening, and knowing where to put yourself in. And you're not going to get out of it. You're going to get.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
part of it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and most of the time, nobody's ever doing anything intentionally, anyways. It's just somebody made a mistake, and
Some shit happens.
whether somebody got greedy or whatever the case was, where you could have just let off and let the dude collect it back up. No, you just
It felt good. It
drive
really
over-
did. It felt
drive over his
good.
nose, or
And then it
whatever
didn't.
the case is, and
Yeah.
that's the long short of it to me. I don't want to see you guys racing with us, and it's not necessarily because I hate the idea of you guys racing with us, because I race with you guys at Pleasant, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not really that big of a deal. But because of the separation in time, we pass you pretty quickly, so it's not that big a deal. Now that we can't pass you easily, and now we have to race against you when we're trying to turn through a corner, and you guys are sideways through the corner, or vice versa, whatever the case may be, it's just going to make for some really ugly racing. And maybe not for the fans, but it's going to make ugly racing for us, and it's going to make an ugly pit for a while.
Yeah, it's gonna get people mad, I think.
Right, the way I've got to manipulate my car in the middle of a corner when it does this or that or whatever may be the complete opposite for what you have to do. So if you see my car doing something and I've got to react in a certain way, put my car in another position, well, when it's pro, racing pro, they all react the same, So Ryan can potentially do the same footwork, steering input,
Telling you.
and get the cars in the same position. On a truck to a car basis, I don't think you're going to be able to do that.
All right, and well,
Yeah.
end of the year you spun up, and and I never lifted. I never slowed down.
You guess you're spun out in the modifier.
And I can't say I can't say that I would have done it different completely with somebody else, but I've raced with Dustin a lot, and I know kind of what Dustin does and how Dustin thinks. But I never had to lift. And we were in the same line.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just knew what Dustin would do, and I stayed right in the kitchen, away I went. I have no idea when you go to spin out what in the world that even looks like.
or what to even expect.
You know,
Right.
so
Let go of the steering wheel. Jesus, take the wheel.
usually when we spin, it's one big,
Pilot.
no,
I'm just
one,
kidding.
one big,
Just kidding.
one big,
Silhouette.
right.
Yeah.
And you guys seem to like go sideways, then catch it. And I don't know if maybe trucks are easier to catch because the wheelbase is longer or whatever. But you guys catch it, and then you go sideways again, and then you really go sideways, but now you go sideways or
The other way.
spin the other way.
I
And I don't know what to
that's
do with
just-
that.
The Ford-
Not
the Ford
anticipate
was
what the car is gonna do. A lot of that.
aggressive in how they do stuff, you know.
You know, kind of like when you
When you guys
Put a
set them
stock
off
box.
the bars, right? Which way is it going?
wait, what?
Well, that way.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't get that out of pro stock, and
That's a lot of that 4-lane stuff right
Right.
there. Yeah.
Just because they create so much more steer than, or have the ability to create more steer than we do? Is that why they're so radical when you guys, like if they come off the bars, they're a handful?
Yeah. And that was when.
Yeah, but if you know what it's gonna do and you can anticipate it, you can hold the wheel and calm it down. Like.
and you know that because you've been racing them, you understand, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's right. You guys with other truck people, I think you guys will be able to race together and be fine, right? But you start adding different classes in the mix.
Someone gets a slapper going down the back stretch, and some pro stock guy shows his nose because he's faster, and
In all honesty, he's going to.
yeah, you know.
We get 4 weeks in, and we can't pass you guys. Every time you make a mistake, we're gonna be there trying to pass
Oh
you.
yeah.
You know, if we're faster and still can't get around you, we're gonna be there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna wind cars up.
And I brought that up, right? You know, right now, for me personally, I know like when we go to Mount Pleasant, and there's trucks there, right? I know that my car is faster than most of the trucks that race there, so for me to whoa up a lap, not collect anybody, not put any of us in harm's way, next lap, I'll you know what I mean? I'll pass you when we're clear. I'm not going to pass you when you're upset or sideways or anything of that nature because it doesn't end well for anybody. Ends up with a lot of wrecked race cars, right? I know that I can wait. I'll just next lap,
Mm-hmm.
right? Try a different line, put myself in a different position, and you know once you watch another guy race a lap or two, you can and start to anticipate driving behaviors and
Oh, yeah.
work through that. But it's easy to do when you know that you're faster than somebody,
Right.
right? When you're
Right, could you do that if you've raced behind him for 4 weeks in a row and you can't get around him? Or are you gonna just
Right.
keep waiting?
You're definitely going to get more aggressive and